All right, today's May 5th, Sunday, and I just want to do a monthly recap of my April. Just going to go over a few trades, some winners, some losers, some lessons, and some goals for me going forward. So, right out the gate here from April 1st, we go down here to right before May 1st, locked in just over 20 grand. That was with being away on vacation for a week. So very happy with the way I performed. My goal, I don't like to put monetary goals, but my goal right now is around 25 grand a month, just so I could reach my goal of crossing a million in net profits by the end of the year. So without being here for a week, hitting 20 grand, definitely good. Definitely happy with that, and definitely something to build on going forward. But let's just get right into it. So on the first, I want to go over the IBIO short. IBIO. IBIO is a big runner. Ran from $1, up to 5. And on the first, it was just a classic first red day. So let's zoom into the first. So we had a classic first red day, big run, gap down, and I played this one really well. Not as well as I liked, and I'm just going all off of memory here. The trades are all on Profitly if you want to look at them, but from what I remember, I started in super small pre-market. I added a little into the spike, but then actually downsized a little as it kept spiking just to stay safe. We had this hard slam. It made me add back in, stayed below it, and then right in here I was trying to get full size. I believe I had just around a little over 2,000 shares, and I was trying to get to 4,000. But we just had this quick hard pull under the low of day that never came back, and it just kept going lower. And I was all out. I think down here at 316 or something, I said, you know what? I had like a 370 average, making about 50, 60 cents in 5 minutes on a play where I'm just looking for a single is great. The reason I was looking for a single is because when we have a 2-day runner, but the second day is kind of toppy, choppy, spikes and comes down, fades, I'm looking for that next quick morning wash on the first red day. Now, if the second green day were to hold on and spike, that's a different story for me, where the first red day I would look to hold and even swing it. But it is what it is. It was a good gain that day. And yeah, that's that. So the next trade would be Sizu that I want to go over on 4-2. And Sizu was just a classic multi-day runner. Huge run, nice multi-day run, nice volume. That's what I love. Multi-day runners with volume, because multi-day runners that could sustain their volume, that's true strength in a market. Not something that spikes for a day and dies, not a day one gapper that spikes up and fades all day with volume. That's manufactured. This too is a bit manufactured, but it's a little more organic to me. And when things move more organically, there's more emotions involved, more edge, more profit opportunity, at least in my opinion, for what I like to trade. So this was a multi-day runner. Huge run, came down hard, held on to volume pretty well. Coming into the next day here, was just looking for that listed first green day, and basically what that was it was holding the previous day lows. Let me zoom in like this. We opened, we were holding the previous day lows, we went green, we started holding VWAP, volume started to come in here. So right away I was interested. I was buying dips here at 960, risking low of day to start. Once we held and started churning, I was looking to add on a 10 break, risking either this dip low or green red. And we broke 10. I added. I didn't have much size here. I think I only had like 700 shares, nothing crazy, but just very solid risk reward on a good pattern. And notice how I said I was adding. I'm always looking to add rather quickly to my listed first green day positions as they're working in my favor. I think it just increases your edge, in my opinion, because when listed first green day is really going to work, it's most likely just really going to work. It's probably not going to fail once it really gets going. And I'm not saying fail in terms of the pattern itself failing, but fail you is in terms of, at the end of the day, profit loss, where you're probably going to be able to get out for scratches if it doesn't truly work. But in this case, Sizu ended up nice spike, and I was all out right into the unhalt. I said, you know what, that's good enough for me. That's, nearly a $2 a share gain in, with halt time 10, 15 minutes. So why not? Take it, move on. This is how the list of first screen days used to be. Also note the volume. This is how a list of first screen days used to be. They kinda are very, well, they're not kinda, they're very cyclical where they're either quick morning spikers and halts like this, or they kind of churn, they're slow. And recently in the market, we've been seeing the churn, the slow, the lethargic movers list of first screen day bounces. But I'll go on later in the review, ones like YYAI that were like that. They tend to be really good ones as well. But in my opinion, definitely slowing down right now, overall market, everything. But we could get into that towards the end. Um, on the third, I actually shorted Coco. If I pull up this chart over here, and that would be on April 3rd in here. Let's see if I could just pull up an hourly. Uh, and it was right in here. Coco's just a big runner on the futures market. And here it is. We opened up on the 3rd, came up, came down, broke the morning lows. I shorted it, and I was just covering for a single. I said, you know what? I'm just going to take my gain, leave it alone. And that was that. Looking at this overall chart now, um, there we go. Uh, Definitely should have been paying attention for this big panic and bounce opportunity, and definitely should have been shorting it up here after it really started consolidating, setting a lower high, and after such a big run. But it is what it is. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. But let's get back into the review. 4-4, April 4th. I want to go over VVPR. It's very similar to the IBIO idea. Again, we have a 1-day runner, 2-day runner, but it gapped and faded all day. My mentality is if we gap, well, first of all, if a day 1 turns into a day 2, that means day 1 system shorts got screwed. So they lost. They're coming into day 2 with vengeance. They're looking for revenge. So they're going to short and they're looking to hold and make back their gains, which is a very dangerous thing. Never try to make back their losses. Never try to make back your losses. That's a recipe for disaster. It's just always one trade at a time, new trade on to the next. Never make back anything. So what I was thinking coming into this morning was, okay, yesterday, shorts are fading it, and they're probably just holding. And I said, you know what? I'm just looking for that quick green to red move, that quick fade, that quick panic, because after fading all day yesterday, shorts are very comfortable, they're cozy, which could lead to a squeeze later in the day if we don't continue that fade. So I shorted pre-market here, nothing crazy, we had a crack, covered, done. That was the majority of my day here, and that's that. Very simple. I'm a very simple trader, very simple ideas, nothing crazy. If we look at CADL on the 5th, this was a big runner. And again, one of those that completely faded, but this was different. I was playing it on this fade day. We had a big run and we started coming down hard in the afternoon. And I just saw it as a dip buy opportunity. I said, you know what? All the shorts got squeezed in the morning. We're now fading all the way back down. All the shorts who lost are going, oh my God, now it's the time. So they're all going to be shorting. So there has to be most likely one more bounce before it goes red. I also said, you know, there's a lot of support in here that I could dip buy into. There's the green red level I could dip buy into. And I just bought like 1,000 shares and just scalped for $1,000 profit. Nothing crazy. Just I saw a market inefficiency, so I went for it. And that's really that. I took it. So then we had DXYZ on, I might as well go to the 9th because I'm going to be going over this for 2 days. Oh, okay, so DXYZ, big runner. Um, I was actually shorting it this morning in here, in this chop, squeezed me out, lost 1,500, left it alone for the rest of the day, said I would rather attack it on the first red day. Next day comes, and we just pulled so quickly out of the open, I wasn't comfortable shorting it here because of the chance it could have just started squeezing over the previous day highs immediately. So I wanted to give it a second. Missed this short, which was the short to take. Was pretty upset about it, but I was patient. I waited for a good bounce, and I started reshorting in here and reshorting in here. It faded back down to VWAP. I added into the lower high, and then it faded off, covered some here, covered the rest right down here into the close for a nice single. That was that. Good 3 grand total on this day. Not all from DXYZ, also VVPR. I think. Let's see. No, that's the wrong day. Oh, on this day. Ah, I didn't write the tickers that day. All right, well, it is what it is. And then the next day, small loss. The next 2 days, I was trying. I remember, rather than going over the tickers here, I'll go over the mentality and the mindset. On the 10th and the 11th, I noticed that the market was getting a bit weak. So if we go to, the 10th and the 11th in here, I think we started failing moving averages. Yeah, we started closing below the 10-day and the 20-day. I took that as a very bad sign. So what I wrote there, especially after losing on bounce plays too, I said it's time to be more short focus. The long patterns are weak, the market's weak, the buyers are gone. The first week, it was the first week that short selling really worked well for me and going long didn't, which is usually the opposite. I'm usually 80% long, 20% short with a super high win rate on the longs compared to my shorts. It was flip-flop this week with the market getting weak, with my patterns not working as well to the long side, the short patterns working rather immediately. So that said weakness to me in the overall markets. So I adapted right there. And it just so happened that it was a good day to adapt because I was going away for a week. So I went on vacation. I said it's time to retire, come back for the A pluses. Came back, and really the last week here, what I really want to go over was how I came back and adapted, saw YYAI as a big runner, and took advantage of it. I want to go over the big YYAI day for me, which was on the 24th. So if we go to April 24th, we could see YYAI was a big multi-day runner, huge fade, and I was looking for the listed first green day. And this one, it tried to have a listed first green day here, tried here, it just couldn't do it. I was thinking about taking it off my radar, but I said I'm going to keep it on watch because the charts are so tight down here. They're just so tight. You see the tightness. They're only moving 10 cents in a day, so the risk reward is small if it did want to run. So I'm thinking if volume comes back in and starts churning with this tight risk reward, I could take size and it could really end up, working well. And that's exactly what happened. Oh, I still have the dots here from when I was buying. I was buying immediately in the morning, adding on the next high day break, adding on the next high day break, moving my risk up, moving my risk up, moving my risk up. Like I said, I'm always being dynamic with my risk, moving it up as the chart works on a list of first green day. Reason being, list of first green days tend not to be multi-day patterns. You're not going to be holding for multiple days. So I'm trying to get as much as and they normally start fading off into the afternoon. They're a morning pattern. So I'm trying to push as much size as possible with keeping my risk in check, trying to keep the same risk and add size. So I'm always going to be, when I'm adding here, my risk is going from green red to this low. When I'm adding here, my risk is going from this low maybe to this area. When we're breaking out here, my risk is going from this area up to this area or even this low here. You're always changing, always adapting. I then sold half of the parabolic. The other half, when we started to get weak, volume started to die off, locked in a great 4 gram profit. And that was one of those main days of my month that I really, you know, need to be here, lock in a good gain. Pattern doesn't seem like much, but I was able to size correctly and do really well with it. Other than that, the other trades I want to go over, it was just the next day AGBA, NIVF, CZU. I gave myself a yellow here for emotion because my mentality was due to external factors, but I want to go over this because I'm very proud of how I executed despite external factors going on in my life coming into my trading and kind of influencing it a bit. I was able to stay very level-headed and kind of keep it separate. You can never fully keep it separate, but I was able to keep my emotions in check, which I'm very, very proud of. And really, it was just 3 first green days that I was playing on this day: AGBA, NIVF, CZU. AGBA big runner had a red day, so I looked for my classic green day. I was buying it at like 202, and I ended up selling it at 207 because I thought it was being heavy. The market was gapping down big this day. It ended up going on a nice run. This one I was a little upset about, but it is what it is. On to the next. NIVF, quick morning spike, was buying it when it went green. Ended up selling it for a quick 20-cent profit just because it felt like everything was heavy. The market was gapping down big this day. As you could see here, was gapping down pretty massive. And then CZU, I went for. Oh, CZU was actually a short I took. It was a day, ran for 2 days, good percentage run. And I said, you know what? It's probably worth a short. So once it broke and cleared out all the short sellers over the previous day highs, I was adding in when we were heavy under VWAP. We cracked and went red, and I was covering perfectly at 1040, which was great. I was very happy about that cover, very happy about that short. And, I like to short stocks that run for 2+ days. It's just your odds are so much higher. And in my opinion, I don't like to say this, but it's so much easier than shorting these day ones and these parabolics. I just wait for 2 big days of extension, which is exactly what we got here. The goal in trading is to be safe, not to trade everything, but to trade less and to trade safe. And I'm very safe trading this way and feel good about trading this way. So again, we tally it all up, just over 20 grand, which is a great month. Good win rate, very happy with it. And going forward, one thing I want to do is keep pushing size on my A plus trades, keep pushing size on my textbook patterns, because I notice that I'm still doing very well with them. Listed first green days are working extremely well. Shorting 2+ day runners working extremely well. And I also noticed shorting listed first green day bounces, especially after I have already been long the pattern, is really that next area I want to do better at and master in the markets. I think there's a lot of opportunity there for me being able to hit these shorts on the listed first green day. Um, I mean, just for example, one just off the top of my head, was it C? Yes, CSSE. I played this as a listed first green day on the 429. If we go back there, I played the list first green day. It wasn't great, but spiked into 35, which is a 50% move. If I was quick enough in shorting some of this, you know, I could have shorted 10,000 shares here and, use the same version of moving my risk down. Added some here, move the risk down to this level. I have 20,000 shares for maybe a 33 average and make maybe a grand on that. There's just extra money lying around that I want to be able to take advantage of. Of course, I will lose on some of these, but I believe that over time, because I do play these, but not enough and not well enough. I do believe the expected value, and I've seen the expected values in my favor. So I'm going to be focused on them a lot more, especially as I still feel a bit of market weakness. It feels like the market is gasping for air, trying so hard to stay alive. So I might as well bring another short pattern into my focus, something that I've been playing. I want to really focus on it and try and do better with it. So that's really that. And going forward, like I said, I want to size up. I want to keep doing less because doing less has given me so much more. Don't need to be trading every day. Don't need to be around every day. Focus on well-being, my mentality, my emotions. That's it. Keep taking it one day at a time, one trade at a time.